Namaste. Good evening. Welcome to this weekly eSIP program. Because of some technical glitch, there was slight delay in starting the meeting. If any of our participants, we can wait for 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, so that we can have some of the participants who will be able to join. Right. So in the last week, we were discussing about the other feelings in relationship. And we spoke about the feeling of affection, the feeling of reverence, about working for excellence and competition. So if any of our participants want to share any reflections, probably we can spend some time on that. Or it could be any other topic which you think is pertinent to the content what we are discussing. Are you able to see that this is going to be useful for you? Do you have any sharings with regard to the content what we are discussing today? Or with respect to the content what we were so far discussed? So we have discussed many of the issues also. Namaste, Rajendra Prasad ji. You want to share something? Your mic is unmute. Namaste. Am I audible? Rajendra Prasad, you want to add something? Okay, maybe by mistake. Yeah. So we were discussing about the other feelings in relationship, and we discussed in length about working for excellence and working for competition. And this is very important when we see the current situation in our education system, where at the very this idea of competition into the students, and that they carry forward as a practice throughout their life. And if you see that the reflection of that is, you can see the competition in every field. So we can look whether it is naturally acceptable to compete or to collaborate. So let me, if at all, if you have any reflections, probably we can take, or else we can go to these slides of today's session. Right. So let me take the slides for today. Just a moment. Yes. So we were discussing about gratitude in the last session. So any thoughts on that? Any reflections on that with regard to the gratitude, excellence, working for excellence, working for collaboration? So are we able to see a need for the change from competition to collaboration? Are we able to see that it is going to make a change in the perspective for a better, in the terms that the environment in the education system as harmony to harmony? What do you think on that? Any reflections on that? Right. Okay. So we said that gratitude is the feeling for those who have made effort in terms of providing help in the process of my development. When we say my development, is my development towards the goal of excellence. That's what we meant when we say in the process of my development. So I take a lot of effort for bringing about excellence in my life. Probably in the initial days, I may not be able to see the values. I may take that excellence to be in terms of skills. So that's also fine. So when we start understanding the content, then it might take a shift, and we will see that excellence is not only about the skills. Skills are only a small part when we talk about excellence, where excellence is about the completeness of the right understanding in the human being at all the four levels, which ensures continuity of happiness and prosperity. So gratitude is the feeling within me for those who have made effort in terms of providing help in the process of my development. Right? I can see that the other has a feeling of care, affection, trust in behavior with me. I can also see that the other has helped me in developing right understanding and right feeling in me. I can also see that the other has provided the necessary physical facility for me, isn't it? So this is very significant in the development of the relationship also. And this is very easy to note, to have this feeling of gratitude. Because for every human being in their life, there will be some time where they will be totally dependent on their parents. If you take any human child, during their initial ages, even for having food, even for doing anything, that baby needs the help of someone, some adult, right? To start with, from mother. So he or she learns all the baby steps, starts from the help of the mother or the parents. And for the human being, we can see that for a quite long time, he or she is dependent, probably till he is able to make an earning. Till that time, he or she is dependent on the parents, right? So while that person grows up and he may be climbing the Everest, or he may be traveling to the space station, or he may be diving into the deep sea. But then again, for all of them, there is a time when they were dependent for all the activities to someone, especially their parents. And the education being one of the most important part, there might be stages where the baby might have taken the help of a primary school teacher to learn the alphabets and the letters and the digits, isn't it? So all has started from there. So, and also the physical facility in terms of food, the clothing, the shelter, the chapels, the devices, all these have been provided by someone else. And if we are able to see that, the feeling of gratitude is quite natural, isn't it? But then of late, what we see is that uh, we are seeing, even in the adults also, many times we are able to see that instead of having a feeling of gratitude, many times people have the feeling that I have the money, that is why I'm having all these things. So I can enjoy how much ever I want. The I, the ego part, the I becomes so profound that he thinks that he is the one who is doing all these things. And he forgets, or he is not able to see the feeling of gratitude. So this also happens, isn't it? And this is very common in the children now, and the students also probably might be there. And then we can always help them to see the feeling of gratitude, isn't it? Gratitude is a significant development of the relationship. So one exercise we can do is to list down the help we are receiving from family, friends, teachers, society, related to food, shelter, etc., and nature also. And this may be an interesting task to give to our students, isn't it? So, so many of our friends might have helped us in many crucial situations in life, in terms of maybe finance, or in terms of any physical facility, or in terms of right understanding. So we might have received guidance from teachers at various levels of our development. So the primary school teacher might have helped us in one way, whereas the teacher at my high school level might have guided me in a different way, or the professor at the college might have guided me in a different way. And sometimes they directly guide us, or sometimes it may be that their very lives may be a lesson for us. And also, many people from the society, from them also we learn, which we consider as the role models or the people of excellence, isn't it? So we can have the feeling of gratitude to all of them, right? And let alone that, if we can see that even the nature is also helping in my self-development. For example, if you look at the honeybee, which is helping in the pollination, and that is very fundamental for the plants to grow, right? And the vegetables and the fruits to grow, which are very essential for my development in terms of having food, right? So the air we breathe, the sunlight we need, the water we drink, all these are part of nature, isn't it? So we can have a feeling of gratitude then also. And if you take the set of people who are helping in providing the physical facility for me, I can very easily see that. For example, we commonly take this example of the plate of meals which we had today for lunch. So how much people have been involved in me having that plate of meals, using which I was able to quench my hunger and thirst, isn't it? So if they were not able, or if they were not uh, taking that time and effort, I may not be able to have the plate of meals on my dining table, in spite of the fat bank balance I have. And this is very important to see, isn't it? So some farmer at some remote place, he has taken, let's say, a period of uh, farming period, maybe 3 to 4 months of time, starting from the seeding to the harvesting point, right? Along with him, a lot of people might be involved, who have helped him for that farming. As the harvest has happened, there might be people who has helped to take this, the rice or the wheat, carried on their shoulders to a truck. So the truck driver is also involved, isn't it? The truck as such is involved one way or the other for the plate of meals which I had during the lunch, isn't it? So if I'm able to see in this line, I can see that innumerous number of people and things and situations and beings, living and non-living, are involved even for any physical facility I am using right now. So if I'm able to see that, it is very easy for me to have the feeling of gratitude. Isn't it? So do you want to, anyone of you wanted to share any of your experiences or sharings regarding the feeling of gratitude? Mic has been provided to many of you. Any sharings or reflections so that we can learn from each other? Probably I may be conversing with someone who is from various parts of the country right now, and there might be experiences for them entirely beyond the capacity of what my experience is with regard to the understanding. So it would be always nice to share. Ji Rajendra Prasad Khareji, mic has been provided to you.
जी
Namaste.
नमस्ते नमस्ते भैया
जी
भैया आज स्कूल गए थे अब तो करीब
जी
8वीं क्लास का एक बच्चा बोल रहा था कि मैम ने हमें पीटा है, बताइए अब हम कैसे सुखी हो सकते। हमने कहा आपकी चाहना तो सुखी होने की है, लगातार तो आप चेक करिए। तो बोले हम कैसे सुखी हो सकते। हमने कहा ये देखोगे तो जो तुम्हें मार पड़ी है वो तुम्हें तुम्हें पड़ी है कि तुम्हारे शरीर को पड़ी है। बोले पड़ी तो शरीर को है। तो हमने शरीर में सुख होता है क्या कि कष्ट होता है। तुम्हें मार दी थी, पेट में हिलाया कुछ भी तो शरीर में कुछ ना कुछ कष्ट हुआ। तो कष्ट के बाद जो सुख है वो तो तुमने फील किया, उसको दुख माना या सुख माना। हमने कहा, मम्मी यदि मारती है तो आप उसमें दुख मानते कि सुख मानते हैं। बोले कि मम्मी की तो हम दुख नहीं मानते, हमने बस। तो हमने कहा, मानना तो आपका। तो संतुष्ट हो गया बच्चा, यही बता रहा था। ये तो बहुत नाराज था। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Rajendra Prasad ji, for that sharing. Yeah. So when we explain to them, it is very easy for them to see that. But then it is our responsibility as a teacher to make them see the reality as such. And when they are able to see the reality as such, and that is the point where the significant development part which is going to happen in the student. Nice way. Right. Anybody else would like to share anything on that? Okay. So the exercise what we were trying to say here is to make the list of people who have helped in growing the food, processing it, transporting it to your place. So how many people are involved in me having this plate of meals? And he said a similar thread could be seen for the utensils in which we are eating, machines which are used for cooking, furniture on which we sit while eating, construction of the dining hall, etc. isn't it? So when we look at the people part, we can see that some of our family ration shop or the what you call the any of the shop, right? And uh, they might have brought it the thing. They may for the buying the things, and they made home. And one of my family member or multiple members may be involved in cooking that, right? It's taking so much of effort. If you look at the plate of meals, the eating part of the consumption part may be finished in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. But if you look at how much time is involved in the preparation of that, you can see the effort which is involved in it, right? And especially when both the people are working, where the mother and father is both working. So they may have to wake up early in the morning, like 5 a.m., so that they have sufficient time for this preparation of the food, isn't it? So much of effort and time is required, and it is not only for one day, on a day in and day out, 3 meals, intermediate snacks, the tea and coffee, right? The kind of variety which is needed for the taste part, variety needed for the nourishment part, right? And then the variety in terms of the staple food, the fruit. Sorry, my connection was lost. Am I? Hope I'm audible. Can you put in the chat that am I audible? Okay, thank you. Yeah, there is some network issue also from my side, I think. Okay, thank you. So what we were saying was about the kind of effort which was needed. And I noted that sometimes the children may not be able to see how much ever time we say this to them, but then they have their own time of learning this in terms of their building their lives and becoming a family, started a family with a husband and wife. Certain lessons students may not be able to understand the gravity of it, the depth of this. When we speak with whatever examples with as a teacher, they may not be able to understand. But then when they become then they started to build up a family and maybe start to have the children and like bringing up the children. Some of them, it will be very clear to them. So We just have to put effort. It is up to them at what stage of life they will be able to see that. That's okay, right? And it was the same for us also. Probably many of us, even me, who's sharing this content with you right now, I would frankly say that I may not be able to see the complete part when I was a growing child. What is the hardship taken by my parents in bringing about the ensuring of the physical facility and the understanding within me, right? But then as a teacher, we can take our effort and let them take their own time. So another question which we have seen here is that, can you count the total number of people who are directly or indirectly involved in ensuring just one meal for you, which we have discussed right now? And the other question is, can money provide it if these people involved do not participate in the process? Another very important question. So many of us might be having a precondition that I have taken effort and earned the salary, and then it is up to me how I'm going to spend it. When I have that kind of attitude, I may not be able to see the feeling of gratitude, or how much ever the effort which the others have taken for this. Right. Okay. So now we have two, three questions for self-reflection. Check whether you have a feeling of gratitude for those who have made effort for you in your life. Are you able to appreciate both what has been done as well as what has not been done, the complete picture? Or are you mostly focused on what has not been done? So this can be one question. We can take it as a self-reflection. If any one of you would like to reflect on this question, we can have a discussion on that. You can unmute, or you can raise your hand, or you can use the chat also, so that we can have a fruitful discussion on this. So the question is, are you able to appreciate both what has been done as well as what has not been done, the complete picture? Are you able to see both the sides? Those has been done and not done. So that is what we call it as the complete picture, right? Or are you mostly focused on what has not been done? Any thoughts, any reflections on this? One of the quick example which come to my mind is about, you know, when the mother or wife is cooking chapatis every night, and probably one day, because of some issues, one or two chapatis got blackened or charred. And when I get that, what is my response? What is my reaction? How do I see that? So it could be like, if I'm able to see both what has been done so far on a day-to-day basis, the effort she is taking to ensure the physical facility in terms of food for me. And many a times we can see that their activity can be like an unconditional responsibility. None of them are paid for what the effort they are taking, not even counted that you have done so and so, and still they do on a day-to-day basis, isn't it? Even then, if I'm not able to see that, sometimes I may react and hurt them by my words. Sometimes I may say that you have been cooking chapatis for so long, maybe 20, 25 years. Even now, you haven't learned how to cook. Sometimes these comments come, isn't it? Sometimes there might be some inner reaction within me that why she's giving this to me. I may not speak out, but that inner reaction will be there. Sometimes some people throw the plates. Reaction. Sometimes they will not eat and say that I don't want to eat from here. I'll go to hotel and eat. And all the effort are being wasted. All these things might happen. These are all different ways of reaction, isn't it? But then if I'm able to see the complete picture, I can see that it's okay. 1 or 2 days, it might happen. It might happen even more when I was involved in this, and I too make these kinds of small mistakes, and it was not intentional, isn't it? Another questions which we can think of is, do you have a feeling of gratitude for the other in continuity, or the feeling of gratitude comes and goes? So this is one more thing which can think about, isn't it? So maybe in most of us, it might be that the feeling of gratitude comes and goes. We may not be able to see the feeling of gratitude in continuity. But we don't have to have guilt for that. Instead of that, if I'm able to have the understanding of gratitude and able to see the complete picture, I can ensure my feeling of gratitude within me, isn't it? So this could be a state what I am right now, and think of where I wanted to be, isn't it? And when I have the feeling of gratitude, what do? In my behavior, my conduct will be with responsibility to the other, ensuring the right feelings in myself, isn't it? So the third question here is, are you making effort for ensuring the right feelings in yourself and expressing them to the other, or are you expecting these feelings from the other? And this is yet another important question, isn't it? The question is, am I expecting these feelings from the other instead of ensuring the right feelings in myself while interacting with the other? And nowadays, most cases, we can see that we expect these feelings from the other. I want respect, give respect, and take respect. All this comes from here, isn't it? My behavior towards you depends on how you behave to me. All these things are preconditioning based on this, isn't it? So from that, what we are saying is that, am I able to ensure the right feelings within me and then express them to the other, irrespective of what is the behavior of the other? Sometimes the other may be disturbed and it might be reflected in his behavior. The incompetency might be reflected in his behavior, isn't it? So what can I do in that situation? Can I have the feeling of trust and respect? Am I able to see that the other is similar to me? Am I able to respond with the feeling of complementariness? Am I able to see the feeling of affection, the feeling of being related to the other? Right? Am I able to ensure these right feelings within me? So when that is important. And when I'm able to do that, then my behavior towards the other will be definite, irrespective of the behavior of the other towards me. And this is possible. And this is what we are aiming at. What I really want to be in my natural acceptance, is to ensure this, isn't it? Ensuring this right feelings within me. And this is easier said than done. Isn't it? Yeah. So try to see that. Now, if we are able to reflect upon some of the feelings which we have already discussed, probably based on natural acceptance, you can check or verify if you want to be related to none. Is that what you wanted to do? Related to none. That means opposition to all. No, isn't it? Because you or may not be comfortable in that point, right? Now, what about, I mean, based on your natural acceptance, do you want to be related to one or many, which we call it as the feeling of affection? Is it naturally acceptable to you? And you can see that it's true, isn't it? And can I extend this feeling of affection, of the feeling of being related to one, or the feeling of being related to many, to include everyone, right? Is it as per your natural acceptance or not? We can reflect upon that. So initially, I have the feeling of affection within me, the feeling of being related to the other, or the acceptance of the other as my relative. So it starts from my home. I have the feeling of affection to my parents, my siblings, my grandparents. And then slowly it gets expanded to my cousins, my relatives, my friends, my neighbors, right? My teachers. Then it can be expanded further to unknown people, the strangers with whom we are interacting on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes the auto driver, which we may be meeting for the first time, Maybe if you are traveling to new places, everybody would be a stranger. So we may be, while traveling in a train, we might be interacting with a lot of people who might be stranger. Am I able to have this feeling of affection towards all of them? The feeling of relatedness, we can check. And am I able to include all human beings? Am I able to see the relatedness to all? That we call it as love. And when we say about love, it not only includes the human beings, but it it may include the plants, the animals, all other units, the non-living things also, all other units in nature. That's why we call that the feeling of love as the complete value, right? So if we just see some of the preconditioning related to love, in current scenario, we are confused with the feeling of love. If you look at the imagination in the self, we have seen this figure where most of our desire, thoughts, and expectations, most of our imagination has got the source based on preconditioning or sensation, which is shown by the red and the black area of this chart. And only a very small area of our thoughts and guidance, thoughts and feelings and imagination is guided by natural acceptance, which is shown by the yellow area. So this picture, as we always say, is not true for every human being. But if you look at the set of human beings in a larger perspective, most of us might have kind of something like this indicative. This is just an indicative picture. So in that terms, we can see that if instead of love, I'm mistaking it to be the sensation, like the lust, like getting from the other, then the continuity may not be possible, right? So today I might have the feeling of lust, but then tomorrow it may go away. Today I might try to get this feeling from someone, but then tomorrow I may feel that that person is no longer able to give me this sensation, so let me look for someone else. Right? So these are changing things, right? And another thing is about the preconditioning, the infatuation, like love at first sight. We often mistake it to be like love. So in love at first sight, what are we seeing? Is it the self or the body? This we can look into. Another preconditioning is that by this age, I must have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Students might have these kinds of thoughts, isn't it? The other has four girlfriend and boyfriend. I have only one. So these kind of thoughts are coming out of the preconditioning, where continuity might not be possible. And the right understanding on our natural acceptance about love is that love is the feeling of being related to all, responsible towards all, giving to all. So the continuity is possible there if it is based on natural acceptance. So this we need to be very clear about love. One's trust, respect, affection, care, guidance are ensured within. then the feeling of being related to all follows naturally. Hope you are able to see the differences between what love is and what love is not. And this is very important for the students, also for the adults also, where we can see many extramarital relationships and all being reason for the family to be disintegrating in the current scenario. So please think about this deeply and let us wind it up today's session here. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste to all. Over to you, Parishit Bhaiya.
Thank you, Dipesh Bhaiya, for this enlightening and informative session. And we certainly like to have more such discussions continue. So we'll meet again next Wednesday for the same. See you again. Thank you, everybody. Namaste. Thank you, Dipesh Bhaiya, and namaste all.
Namaste Bhaiya. Namaste to all.